This is Susan Wilbanks with BlendedInsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic. Hello, bright soul. Thank you so much for joining me on another podcast. And thank you to all of you who have taken the time to leave me reviews and sent me donations. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I so appreciate you, and I appreciate it so much. And I am going to go into the topic for today. And I wanted to talk about this today because last week we talked about trusting the flow, that everything is unfolding exactly as it should be. And there is an element of trusting, which is a receiving yin type of activity. And there is a doing, which is an outward yang. One is feminine, one's masculine type of energy. And there's this big thing. Okay, so discipline and consistency and getting things done is really important. And it's a physical part, but it's how we get things done. The difference between people who exercise regularly is really discipline. It boils down to discipline because even when we don't want to do it, we do it anyway because we know it's good for us. So there is an element of doing and being. And those of us on the spiritual path in this great time of evolution who are connected, we're listening to our guidance, we're making conscious connection every day. There sometimes can be a confusion between when we act and when we don't act. And there is a distinction. So when we are operating from a ego-based should type of mentality, I should do this, I should do that, it makes us feel heavy. It makes us feel contracted. It makes us feel guilty sometimes because of that inner drill sergeant. We're driving ourselves towards something. And the better you get at listening to your inner voice, you will be able to tell the difference between inspired action. When you are inspired to do something, there's an internal pull. You're being pulled towards something. It's not a push, it's a pull. So it feels light. It feels good. And it could come in like, oh, I should try that or do that. But it won't come with a bunch of heaviness and resistance. That's the difference. Now, sometimes we know something is good for us and it is an inspired action, but it's not something that we really want to do. So there can be a little resistance from ourselves not wanting to do it, knowing we have to do it. And it really just takes you getting very consciously clear on how things come in for you through your meditation and your spiritual practice. So I wanted to just share that following the pull and not the push is inspired action. Like I had shared before when I was taking the belly dance classes, I felt interested in belly dance. I was genuinely interested. It was a lightness about it. I was curious. But then once I got into the class, my soul was like, I don't want to do this because of the timing. I'm already very active. All the things I shared about in that podcast of your body as a messenger. And so what initially was like an inspired, yeah, this feels good, became a push and no longer a pull. And sometimes things, we just got to experience certain things. We get what we need, and then it's time to pull out. And, you know, you can only determine that for yourself through your intuition and your practice. But inspired action feels very good, and we have the support behind it. You know, it's an inspiration versus a motivation. So when you're inspired, it's a draw. You're in flow. It's like stepping into a river on a mattress where you just get on the mattress and you're just flowing. Whereas when you are trying to motivate yourself to do something, it's pushing. That's like getting in the river and trying to push upstream with your mattress, and it's tough. You're trying to get through it. And again, those pushes are sometimes necessary in the human experience. But as an intuitive being who is connected, you will know the difference. And your soul will always guide you. Your intuition will always guide you. Got to create those still spots so that you can actually listen. Create that stillness so that you can hear. You got to clear your mind through whatever works for you. And when I say a meditation practice, sometimes it's walking. There's beautiful walking meditations, and you don't have to be listening to anything. If you're just, maybe it's stepping outside. I have beautiful mature trees in my yard, and in the summertime, I would go and sit under my pine tree. Pine trees have a lot of prana, and just tune in and listen to what I need to hear and pay attention to synchronicities that occur, or birds that fly by, or squirrels, or whatever. All of those things are messages when you are awake and you're listening. And whatever you hear intuitively for you, that's the message. So you don't need someone else to interpret it for you. You are a divine being. You are a creator. You are part of a collective whole. And I'm not saying you can't ask someone to help, because we all do that at some times, but I'm saying you don't necessarily need it, because the better you get at trusting what comes in for you, the stronger that muscle gets. So that's really all I wanted to share. And let's go into a healing, and I will clear away any cobwebs on your energy field and help you to really tune into what that inspired action is for you. So you can uncross your arms and legs and focus on your breathing. Okay, and so it is. It was a quick podcast today, just a quick reminder, and I want to thank you so much for being here, for all of your sweetness. I so appreciate it. I know I say it every week because it's important. It's really important. I want you to know that. And I want to wish you a beautiful week. Take care. Bye-bye.